All right. So welcome to the balance workshop. And basically just a little workout. We're going to get started, first of all, with getting warmed up, because I know y'all want to get warmed up and move around. So just twist and turn, a little toe touch, take your elbows across, just work out a little bit. So now if you have some things handy, like a book or maybe a block, those can be good for testing your balance first of all. Now we can always do this without that. You can just stand on the floor on one leg and see how you do. Also, if you have a mat or a towel, that could be handy too. It can make your balance more challenging, the exercises. And then also some dumbbells or some soup cans. Reach up and over. Little breaths each time. Just getting warmed up. I know your balance is probably better when you're warmed up. Press down, heel touch. You're going to do a good stretch at the end as well. We're just going to go over some strength exercises that help you with balance. And at first, we're going to give you a little quick test to see how your balance is. You might, if you can have like a little clock handy or a stopwatch, that could help too, to test your balance and record your seconds. Reach up. You can always go back and do these things later. So if you don't have any of these tools, you can always go back and try them later. It's a simple thing like standing on one leg, for instance. Reaching up and over, seeing how long you can stand. We're still just getting warmed up. Excellent. All right, so let's go ahead and go through some tests first. First, I want to go through one basic test. Now, if you have a block or a book, you can basically use that to stand on. And the first basic test is you should be able to do this for about 5 seconds. So let's just see if you can stand on this block or book. Now, if you don't have one, you can worry about that later. See if you can stand on one foot, basically. So just hold there for about 5 seconds. You might take a couple deep breaths and just relax. All right, so now if you didn't do very well, if you weren't able to do that for 5 seconds, we definitely need to work on this. Let's try the other foot. Try that one out. Just seeing about 5 seconds or so. And relax. Good, just rotate your hips around a little bit. Something happened here. Yes. Something happened. Other direction. All right, so realistically, you should be able to stand on one leg for about 30 seconds. That's always my basic test. So if you can't stand on one leg for 30 seconds, you definitely kind of want to work on that a little more. And I'm talking without a block. But if you want to challenge yourself a little more and try this test with the block or a book, you can do that as well. So what I'd like you to do is see what you can do for about 30 seconds to a minute. Now, most average people should be able to do like a minute. But since we're getting older, seniors should be able to do at least 30 seconds. So test yourself here for a moment. See if you can do about 30 seconds of a balance. It's also a good exercise. So just go ahead and relax, take some deep breaths, see what you can do. You can always start the clock or your watch anytime. I'm going to give you about a minute. So those people that are wondering if they can do a minute, we'll go ahead and try for a whole minute. Keep going there, about another 30 seconds. Good. Keep that posture too. Good. See what you can do. The leg starts to burn. Notice the calf muscles. You can feel it in the calf muscles and the ankles. Go ahead and relax. All right. Shake that out a little bit. Now, part of the deal is you want to get that ankle stretched out. You notice the calves work. Ankle mobility is very important too. So move it around a little bit. It's good to do these kind of stretches in between these balance exercises. Other direction. And point and flex. Good. So let's try the other side. So if you can do at least 5 seconds, then hey, you're not going to fall, or you're not going to be likely to be twice as likely to fall. But hey, you better be able to do more than 5 seconds. You want to be twice as likely to fall. So here we go. See what you can do. Good posture. Start with seeing if you can just do 30 seconds. Then you're about average. If you can do a little bit more, you're going a little above average there. And you know, a lot of this is kind of basic testing. Over the years, I've seen that 30 seconds is kind of definitely the average. 5 seconds is something more kind of by the books. If you can't do that, then you're kind of likely to have issues with following. Keep going there, about another 30 seconds. That's it. You can work your breathing too. Take some deep breaths. One more breath. About another 10 seconds. Feel the calf and muscles burning and working. So just doing this alone is a strengthening exercise for those calf muscles. And you can tell that they're very important. All right, go ahead and relax there. Let's go ahead and do the ankle rotations again. I'm just gonna bring my chair over here and rotate the ankle. Good, so that's kind of more of an elongated test. If you can not do the 5 seconds, then you kind of want to work on it. But if you can do 30 seconds, you're average. If you can do a minute, you're pretty much normal. Younger adult normal, let's say. Other direction. All right, so the next thing we're going to look at, we've talked about this before, is how far can you reach? So from here to here is maybe about 10 inches or 12 inches. You want to be able to reach at least 6 inches in front of you. So if you cannot reach 6 inches in front of you, like this here, without falling, then you're kind of at risk. If you can do 12 inches, then you're pretty much average for a senior. And you can kind of do that in the air. You don't have to have the wall. But you can see clearly on my camera just how far I can go without having to take a step. And allow yourself to take a step if you need to. Try to see what your balance perimeter is. So we call it the balance perimeter. How far can you reach before you have to take a step? And see what you can do. A lot of this is assessing yourself. So like the last test that we did, the single leg balance, assess yourself. See if you can do 60 seconds. Well, if you can do 60 seconds, test yourself later and see if you can do 2 minutes. See what your ultimate ability is. And then as you progress, you can see if you're getting better or getting worse. Same with this kind of thing. Assess yourself, see how far you can go. And that's a good exercise in itself. So you could just do this like 10 times, just reaching and seeing how far you can go. Taking that step is a good fall prevention exercise as well. Keep going, about 5 or 6 more. Just keep trying. And like I said, you don't have to have anything to gauge your distance so much. Just see how far you can reach. Couple more. Excellent. So I'm going to give you a couple other basic tests that you could do. You might want to do these later with yourself. The next one is like a 10-foot get up and go test. So the idea would be that I have my chair about 10 feet away from maybe like a cone, or put a little dot on the floor, and I stand up, I walk around the cone, and I come back to my chair, and then I sit down. So right now, if you want to, you can kind of imagine about 10 feet in front of you. What I'd like you to do is to sit down in your chair, and then just stand up, walk around, come back to it, and then have a seat. So if you're still walking, then maybe you have some issues with balance. You should be able to do this within about 14 seconds. So test yourself, kind of use your own watch and and see if you can do this in about 14 seconds. All right. Some of these definitely want to keep an eye on later in life. Make sure that you can still do this, but this gives you kind of a baseline. All right. So again, we can do a different direction. Stand up, walk around the other direction, find that 10 feet, and then back to your sit down. All right. A lot of it's can you get up quickly, move around, and then sit down quickly. All right. And then the last basic test is 5 basic squats. You should be able to do those in about 13 seconds. So what I'm saying is, without holding on to anything, you should be able to stand up, sit down. Go ahead and do this with me here. This would be 2. We're going to do 5 of them. 3, 4, and 5. So what you want to do is be able to do that in about 13 seconds. So go ahead and try it again. I'll give you a little breath. Work it out a little bit. Give you about another 5 seconds. So we're going to do 5 squats. See how quickly you can do them. You could even give you a little counter. See how quickly you did them now. A year from now, see if you can do them just as fast or faster. All right, here we go. On your marks, get set, go. 5 squats. Excellent. So then you click your counter, see how fast you can do those. Give yourself a baseline so that you can have a kind of baseline for all of these things. So even the stand up, get around, that might be a little quicker for a lot of people, but I don't want anybody to hurt themselves either. So do it at your own risk. Make sure that you kind of have control of what you're doing and whatnot. Okay? So we've done a lot of different drills for balance over the times. So like, for instance, we have drills where you're standing on one leg this way or that way, or all these different combinations. What I wanted to talk about today is about you strengthening the muscles that help your balance. So first of all is your core muscles. You could start with this. Just put your one hand over the other and just have some distance between your hand. And then tighten your core. Simple as bringing those hands together and then open up. So this can kind of give you some clues about 2 different things. One is your core movement. That's your hands coming together. And then also your posture. Notice that it's a little bit lacking. Once it opens up, those hands get a little further apart. So think about your core movement, forward and then back. So we talked about the reaching thing. Now certainly there comes a point where your back is too weak. It needs to reach out more, and then you have to take a step. And so part of the deal is like the rows that we do. Those will definitely help your balance by tightening those backs, but also some squeezes or pushing and pulling. So what I want to do now is just do a little clasp with the wrists or clasp with the hands. We're just going to squeeze. And I want you to think about tightening the core muscles. Notice that you kind of pull the belly in a little bit. Just inhale and then exhale. Inhale and exhale. Inhale and exhale. So a lot of balance is about this core movement, whether it's the front or the back. Let's go ahead and focus on the back now. I'll turn to the side a little bit. I'm going to push into my chair. If you had a ball, you could use that too. But today we're just pushed into the chair. It's just as simple, and then relax. So that helps you be able to reach out and grab something in the end, that pushing back of the chair. So do about 10 of those. So a little more fine tuning of the muscles today. Not a lot of hard workout, but you do have little muscles that you need to kind of touch on and really work with. You don't need to just focus on your chest and your glutes and your quads. You need to focus on your wrists and your hands and your feet and everything. Well, with that said, let's go ahead and focus on the next thing that will help you with balance. Focusing on your feet. Do you ever work on your toe curls? So think about it this way. You know, you can't really see me curling my toes in my shoes. But what I want you to do is just curl your toes in your shoes and then just let them relax. Curl your toes and then let them relax. And do about 12 or 15 of those. Just toe curls. I know it might not feel very macho or womanly, but giving those toe curls really work you out. You might even still need to breathe though. Exhale. I'm curling my toes. Squeeze and then relax. So those toe curls really grip the ground. I know that even in your shoes, I think it's important too to work them inside your shoes is good, because then you'll even grip the ground more while you have your shoes on. So I'm still working my toe curls. Squeezing and relaxing. I know you can't see me working them, but I'm just toe curling. About 5 more. And you might go back through and do about a couple sets of these, about 2 sets of 15. So just to recap a little bit, we worked on core muscles and toe curls so far. The next thing that we're going to work on is calves. All right, so let's go ahead and stand up. And we're going to be behind the chair. And we'll start with just lifting up. Now there's 2 kinds of calf muscles. This is the gastrocnemius muscle. When your legs are straight and you're raising up on the balls of the feet, that's working a specific muscle called the gastrocnemius. So I'm just going to keep working that. Working those calf raises. You can raise the hands up, work your balance more even. But it's more about working those muscles that help you with your balance. So far we've talked about core muscles, keep those tight. You feel those toes, you might be curling a little bit there as you're going up. Just little heel lifts. Now if you're super able, you can even just do this on 1 foot more, maybe even have 1 leg behind the other. Work those calves even more. We'll do about 10 each side. This is 4. I'm going to exhale as I go up. Give me 2 more. And other side. So not a huge workout, working those lower calf muscles again. Those are the kind of things that are going to help you with balance. But you'll still feel them in the morning. You're going to feel this workout still. Lifting up on the balls of the feet. Excellent. All right. And then just go and kind of march it out a little bit. So we talked about the single leg stance. Also just basic marching is balance. Slowing it down, weight shifting, all that stuff works balance. Not really working the muscles so much as well, but you are definitely working some balance there. Now they say you should be able to walk at least 2.5 miles an hour. Let's just kind of walk it out a little bit. You should be able to walk at least 2.5 miles an hour. They call this the Grim Reaper test. If you can't pass the Grim Reaper test, you're really likely to have more falls. So you want to be able to walk about 2.5 to 3 miles an hour. This is kind of a good test. If you have a treadmill, that definitely helps, but there's other ways to kind of track it with these new technologies as well. It's also about 135 feet in 30 seconds. So you could always measure out 135 feet and see if you can walk that within 30 seconds. If you can't, you might be one of those Grim Reaper type people, and that's just trouble. All right, let's move on to the next thing. Just to touch base, we did the core, the toes, the calves, Now we're going to talk about glutes and hamstrings. All right. So we're going to actually do some deadlifts. I got my weights here, right here. Deadlift might sound more like an Olympic type thing or a strength trainer type thing, but really it's all about working the glutes. And we found that a lot of seniors are not as strength, don't have as much strength in the glutes as we've expected at times. So the deadlifts really help. That just means we'll use these weights just to add a little more intensity to it, but you can do it without the weights too. It just means that you're going to go all the way down and then come all the way up. Let's just keep it simple like that. All the way down, all the way up. And so you should even feel a stretch in these glutes as you come down. Now I understand if you have knee issues, you can go ahead and just stick with the mini squat. You'll still work the glutes and the quads when you're doing that. All right? But if you want to get those hamstrings really stretched down a little bit. Now notice I don't let my knees go past my toes. I'm still just sitting back with it, but going all the way down. Excellent. Give me about 6 more of these. Feel the stretch. Also tighten the glutes. Each time you come up, that's the key. Go ahead and come down, tighten. So tightening your rear end, working those muscles. Give me about 4 more. Once again, you can always go back through and do more sets of these. Excellent. All right. So let's go ahead and just set the weights down. Keep it simple. We're going to talk about the next muscles that we need to work, which are the quadricep muscles. And we've done stiff leg lifts and things like that, but we really want to work strength on these. So we're just going to do some basic chair squats. Now, if you have issues with the knees, go back to the stiff leg lifts. That'll still work your quadriceps. All right? So we're just going to stand up and stand down. So we're going to start there, just some basic movement. We'll hold some things here in a moment, kind of work it a little differently too. So start with about 10 of these, if you can. Now, if you need to, you can always get that towel out, put it right there, make it a little easier if you need a little extra, if you don't like going all the way down. So change your workout according to how your body feels. Make sure it feels good to you. All right, go ahead and relax there for a moment. Excellent. So another thing I want to talk about is see those calf raises that we did earlier. When your legs are long, you don't have to sit up. When your legs are long, that's working the gastrocnemius. Now there's 2 kinds of calf muscles. We also have the soleus, which is more when your legs are bent. So you could definitely add more weights. So I'm going to get the weights out here and try to work those calf raises. See how my feet are coming up and down. So that's a different muscle, but that's a very important muscle to work because when we're jogging, we don't have our legs straight. So it's definitely working the soleus. Those muscles are going to help your balance a lot more. So we definitely want to work strengthening these. If you have a club or currently can't come to a club, you'd want to be able to do the seated calf raise. But we have to mimic that a little bit with these weights and just lean forward onto it. Put some weight onto it so that you can really work those muscles more. It's hard to work the seated calf, but you can do your best there. And maybe just more time, more reps, maybe about 10 more reps. Little exhales as I come up. Excellent. All right. So we talked about the quads. You want to do the chair squats, but you also want to do some lunges. So let's move on to lunges next. So on the lunges, you're going to put one leg forward the idea of the split stance, and you're just going to work the muscle here in the top of your leg as you go up and down. I'll show you from the side. Notice my knee does not go past my toe. I'm pretty much going straight up and down. Exhale as you go up. This definitely helps your balance. Give me 3 more. Excellent. Let's try the other side. Almost there. We're just going to finish with this, and we'll do a little stretching. So find your balance. Now, if the lunge is too much for you, you can always just work your balance here. You don't have to go down and up. Let's do 10 of these. Four more. Excellent. All right, just shake it out a little bit. Good. So there's only one more thing I want to touch upon first, and that's rotational movement. Now, we could just do that here with these weights. Just turn to the side, center, side, center. Now, remember, any balance thing you do, if you make your stance a little more narrow or together, then it'll be a little harder. Going side, center. And you could always add those to a lunge or something like that too, but the twisting always makes you have to work your balance a little bit. So the muscles for that, we could work seated. So keep your weights there. Have a seat and sit to the side. We're going to bring one leg up. We're just going to go side to side, working those core muscles. While we do that, I'll just review. Remember, you have your core muscles that you're working right now, and you have your pushing and pulling, the back and front of your core muscles. We did the toe curls, and then we did the calves, the heel lifts, and then we did the glute and hamstring muscles, the deadlifts, and then we did the quad exercises, the squats and the lunges. Good, let's go ahead and switch to the other side. So you can keep doing this routine every 3 days, something like it, just to keep your balance in better shape. Now I always exhale on one side, and then inhale on the other on this. Exhale, inhale. Give me about 4 more. Keep that back straight. Excellent. All right, let's go ahead and set the weights down. We're going to finish with some stretching. Remember, stretching always helps your balance too. You want to be flexible. So we're going to put one leg out and take a deep breath in and exhale. Keep your back nice and straight. Take your chest to your toes. Take a couple deep breaths. Go ahead and relax your back. Stretch a little longer. And again, we want to work that ankle flexibility. Point and flex. Pull it, push it as far forward as you can and pull it as far back as you can. And rotate the ankle other direction. And now if I had my shoes off, or if you don't mind touching your shoes, which I don't think it's best to touch the bottom of your shoes these days, but you could also do a little bit in and out with your hand. It's a little hard to do this with your foot, but using the hand can direct it a little bit and you can get more stretch. Be careful though, you don't want to hurt anything. You don't want to break a bone. All right, let's try the other side. Other leg out, deep breath in, and exhale. So back is straight to start with, chest up to toes. And rotate the ankle. So let's just review one more time the testing that we did. We did the on the block testing. We did the single leg test. If you can go for 30 seconds to a minute, you're great. Other direction with the foot. If you can stand and reach for 6 to 10 inches, you're doing pretty good. So even 6 to 12 inches. If you can do the 10-foot up and go test, point and flex there. So you go 10 feet, stand up, come back to your seat. Do that in 14 seconds, you're doing pretty good. Ankle stretch here. And then there was the 5 squats. If you can do 5 squats in 13 seconds, you're doing pretty good. So if you can pass all those tests, you should feel really good about yourself today. All right, reach up. And we'll just review the balance strength exercise that you could do. You got your core exercises right in here, your toe curls, your heel lifts, your glutes and hamstrings, and your quadriceps. So calves are the heel lifts, glutes and hamstrings are the deadlifts, and then quads are the chair squats and the lunges. Reach back, lift the chest. Push out, curve your back. All right, I got one more stretch for you. We're gonna cross the legs. Remember that you can do this at low ankle or up high. And you're just gonna lean forward. Take a couple deep breaths. This will get those glutes that we worked. The rear and the hip. Other side. Almost there, take one more breath. Okay, and 2 more breaths. We'll close it up here. Inhale, reach up. And exhale. One more deep breath. And exhale. All right, nice job, everybody. Keep working that balance. You'll do great.